social media land. Hello, hello. Hi over there in social media land. Welcome to another episode of the Question Live Show with your host, Verona Willis-Brown. That is more. Yes, indeed. So welcome to another episode here. You know what we do. We inspire, we empower, we don't motivate. We encourage each other, but most of all, we support each other. Yes, honey. So if you have a story, you have a book, you got work in progress, come on in here so we could work together, build together, grow together, support each other. Because when we support each other, we will grow better as a family, as a community, as the world. So listen, the more we are together, the stronger we will be. The further we are apart, the weaker we will be. That's how we do up in here. So come on in and let us get this thing popping. Good. So listen. Tonight we are going to go and we're going to tinkle. We're going to do a lot of things tonight, okay? So I think this is where you're calling up all your single people, all the family, not children, okay? Call up all the big people, yes, the grown folk. Call up all the grown folk up in here. Bring them on up in here, because we're going to go up in some adult stuffy up in here, right? So guess what's going to happen? I got a guest up in here. We're going to talk about some stuff. I got my lip gloss ready, my eyebrow ready, my hair pump up, I'm ready. So call up all the people over there on the other side and bring them on in. Because, let me tell you something. Being single, listen, you could be married and feel single. So anyway, just bring in all the adult people. Okay, come on up in here. So this is what we're going to do. Now listen. If this is your first time tuning in, very first time. You never heard of the Question Live Show before. You never heard of Verona Willis-Brown before. You never heard of the Are You Free Love platform before. No, this is your first time tuning in. I want to say to you, welcome. Yes, indeed. Welcome to this platform. Now, for those who are tuning in for the second, third, fourth, fifth, fifth, whatever time, anytime after the first time, simply means you are a returning audience. And of course, I welcome you just the same. So, you see, the first time as they're newbies. And because the first time as newbies, we want to welcome them. We want to give them special welcome. So, newbies, please put in the comment section that it is your first time. So, what we could welcome you. I got my welcome thing right here. So now, for those who have been here, those who are returning audience, you already know what happened right about now. If you are watching this, listen up, because newbies, we do have some rules here. We have some rules. Now listen, when I say rules, don't let your heart go flat or your mind go scatter, because I say rules. Rules are everywhere you go. Whether you come to my house, I go to your house, you go to church, you go to school, you go to mass, you go to the temple, you go to the synagogue, you go around the world. There are rules. So don't you get scared now. Don't you get scared. And what we have here, we call them tiny house rules. How many of them you may answer? As your host, I'm responsible to answer your questions. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Only 5. We only have 5 of them. 5 rules. 5 tiny weeny rules. Okay, so let's go over them. For those who've been here, they already know the rules. And if they don't know them by now, listen, this is for the newbies. Now, newbies, rule number 1. If you are watching this and you are seeing live anywhere, if you are seeing live somewhere, simply means you are in the live audience. And if you are in the live audience, what I do, I ask you just to wave to me. Wave. Put your name in the comment section that it is your first time. Yes, indeed. And let me tell you, if you are watching this live, all I ask you to do, because returning people, they already know this. If you are watching the live, all I ask you to do is just go over there, right there in the middle of the page. You see the word share. Please click that share button and share the live. Share the live and invite somebody else to come on in to dine with us. Because let me tell you about live. Live is like share. Yummy. fresh food that just come off the stove, out of the oven, the one that your mama cooked, the one that is now your favorite meal. So what happened? You would like to share your favorite meal. I don't care. Share it with the cat, the rat, the dog, the roach. We gotta share. My mama once told me, never withhold food from anybody. Especially when it's good. So if you gotta share a rice grain, a beans, whatever it is, a crumb, share it. And for those of you who will be watching this and you don't see live, most likely you're watching the replay. Hashtag replay in the comment section and let us know what is it that you learn right here, because this is a teaching platform and we are students and teachers at the same time. And a student and a teacher got the same intention on it, and that is to live, learn, and teach. So guess what? If you are watching the replay, this is what happened. The replay is simple, same rule. Look over there, you see the share button. Click the share button and share and invite somebody else to come in and dine with you, because sometimes it's just not good to eat alone. And sharing the replay is just like sharing leftover food. Whoa! Some leftover food do taste good, honey. Yes, because it's like the food is cooking twice and twice as nice. It's yummy, yummy, yummy. So you will like to share that. Now, we oftentimes hear this, sharing is caring. That's so real cliche. We are not into that. We are into sharing because it is in our DNA. And caring is a part of our DNA as well. So we want to put both of them together and we want to utilize them and become great sharers of the world and great carers of the world. Because the world needs people to care and the world needs people to share. So yes, so that is rule number 1, share the life. Now rule number 2, grab yourself something to write with, whether it is a pencil, when it's a pen, pencil, marker, crayon, whatever color pencil. Maybe it's a piece of feather, but if it's a piece of feather, you need some ink to dip it in or some paint to dip it in to scribble, scribble where we're on your notebook or a piece of paper, honey. Yes, indeed. And if you don't have all of that, that is fine. Go into your electronic device and find a blank page in there and utilize it. That's why they created for us to utilize it. And if you are watching me from an electronic device and you have another one called your cell phone, go in there, use it. Find that space in there that says blank page. Utilize that. Or if you don't see that, what is this? Text back to yourself. Text back to yourself. Now, you might be sitting there watching and saying, asking yourself the question, or asking me, but if I can't hear you, what you asking us to write down and text back to ourselves, Verona? Well, let me tell you as your host. You see, here on the Question Live Show, we drop juicy contents and golden nuggets, and I encourage you to write them down. Yes, indeed. Write things down for several reasons. When you write things down, you extract the very thoughts out of your head, you put them on paper, and what? Yes, it now becomes reality to you. And when something is reality, it's looking straight back at you. And we are in the business of reality. We want to extract our dreams so it could come to reality so we can manifest a little bit faster. And another reason why I said to write things down, because when you write one word, that one word equals to a sentence and a sentence and a sentence, and those sentences equals to paragraph and paragraph and paragraph, and those paragraphs equal to pages and pages and pages. And as a result of all those pages, you might just end up with a book. Yes, indeed. And not only a book, but you might just become a published author like the guest we have coming up. Yes, indeed. You might just become a published author. You see, we as writers, we like to write our own stories and we attempt to write yours. But it's not as effective as you writing your own stories. Why? Because we all have story inside of us. And when we write our story, we are extracting those stories out so they can become a strategic way for someone or for ourselves, or they might just add to a solution to somebody else's situation or somebody else's circumstances. So we would like to extract those stories out. Yes, indeed. You see, when you extract those stories, it might just give somebody some boldness to write their own story too, or to tell their own story, because that's what we do. So we are in the business to create greatness within us. Pick it out and create great stuff, because that's what we do. Greatness is inside of us, so we want to do all of that. So good. So with that said, now listen, And as I talk about solution, let me grab mine. The next rule is grab yourself something to drink, whether it is water, wine, tea, or juice, soda, popsicle, whatever it is that you drink. It could be some smoothie, some shake, some soup, some broth, some porridge, whatever is it that you drink, that is up to you. Now, all I ask you to do is just put in the comment section that you are drinking something. If you want to tell me what it is, that's up to you. That's not my business, whatever it is that you're drinking. Put in the comment section that you are drinking something. Why? You see, when I ask you to drink something, it is a form of support because I am back here doing all the talking and I just ask you to just drink something on my behalf. Yes, indeed, because I do have my water, and if I start drinking, then you won't be seeing me on the show because I will be going to the bathroom. So please drink on my behalf. Now, even though I list all those things and I said you could be drinking all of that, I like to recommend that you drink water. Why? You see, water quenches the thirst, it flushes the body of toxin, and it flourishes the skin. So I encourage you to drink water. And secondly, I am a believer, and I believe in miracles. Because I met somebody called Jesus, and he turned water into wine, honey. If you don't know the story, you miss the story. So if you don't know, you're going to have to know. Sometime, not tonight, I tell you the story how Jesus went up in somebody's wedding and changed up their water and turned it into wine. So I like the man. Because I like to change up things too. So yes, indeed. So I like to come up with my water. You might not be expecting your water to turn into wine, but I expect a miracle every day. Whatever the miracle is, I do expect a miracle every day. So please, by all means, whatever is it that you're drinking, go ahead and drink it. Drink on. Yes, let me put mine over here. Go ahead and drink yours. Now, with all that drinking, rule number 4 says if you need to use the bathroom, whether it's to the right, to the left, wherever your bathroom is located, go now. Use the bathroom, then you're going to come right back, grab your seat right here. Why? Because your seat is reserved, just like the seat of life, with your name on it. And not only your name, but your intention, your expectation, your goals, your gifts, your talents, your passion, your purpose, your destiny is there. And inside of all of that is greatness. So we would like for you to utilize that. Yes, indeed. So with that said, listen, Linda. No, listen, audience. Listen. So when we do all of that, now, ladies, you know, everywhere that we go, there's always a line to our bathroom. So if you're outside and you're looking at me right now and you're in a line, scooch yourself to that side and say, excuse me, can I use your bathroom? And you're going to come right back. So when you come right back, and if you see that the place got crowded and you don't see your seat, that's fine. Stand in place or sit in place because there's always a position for you to fill. You see, we are all on this journey called life, and we all want to develop a successful story because success does not define by one person. It's defined by 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 5, whatever the amount is. The fact of the matter is that nobody can succeed by themselves. Whether you're in the position as a prime minister, a president, a councilman, whatever position you're in, you do not get there by yourself. Therefore, I'm saying to you, audience, we cannot get anywhere by ourselves. So we ask that you support each other. You don't got to support here, but you just find somebody to support because that's all it is. So with that said, let's go to the other rule. The other rule is very, very tiny. If I say something and it resonates with you, whether it touch your heart, you touch your mind, wherever it touch, just put in the comment section. Yes, it's just showing that you are aligning yourself with the conversation that we are having here. And it is a solid proof that, you see, when I show up here, I am not showing up here as a show where it's a monologue. It is a dialogue, which is a conversation between you and I. So when I say yes simply means that we are holding a conversation, darling. Yes, indeed. So with that, I just want to say to you, welcome to another episode of the Question Live Show. And with that said, I just want to say, welcome to one and all, and you know the rule, just press the share button and share the live. So let me go up in the audience and see who we have here. You see, we have Sharon was by the door. She was knocking. She was like, listen, I'm up in here. I'm waiting. Welcome, Sharon. You see, she VIP. She's like, I got a VIP ticket up in here. Yes, indeed. So welcome, Sharon. Welcome. Theta up in the house. I'm here keeping coming. Sharon and Theta, like, listen, we up in here. We gonna talk. We gonna hold a whole conversation. All that good stuff. Yes, indeed. Let me tell you before I go any further to welcome anybody else. If this is your first time tuning in, let me tell you, don't be shy. Wave to us. Wave to us. Come on in the live and say hi to us. As you can see, that's what we do up in the audience. Why? Because we are one big family. So come on over. Don't be backstage. Don't be back there. Don't be somewhere. Don't be somewhere looking in. Come on in and wave to us. But let me tell you something. Anybody who went to the bathroom and they're taking a long time, we are not waiting for them because life don't wait for us. So we are just gonna roll the show. Yes, indeed. So those of you looking in, come on, pull the curtain, open the door, and come on in so we can welcome you just to say, I see Georgia up in the house. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. She up in here, up in here. Come on in here. Yes, indeed. Yes. You see what I'm trying to tell you? They welcome each other. Yes, yes. They welcome each other. So don't feel shy. Don't feel shy. It's okay. Well, sometimes I do get shy, so don't y'all worry. But there's no judgment here. There's no judgment here because sometimes I do get shy, you know. I'm like, oh, yeah. But that's okay. It's okay. It's okay. There's no judgment, so that's fine. That's fine. That's fine. If you don't want to show your face, if you don't want to wave to us, that's fine too. That's fine too. It's the decision is up to you. We don't have no judgment here. This is a safe space. We're like, oh, whatever. We just go on about our business and just do what we do up in here, and that is to inspire you, and that is to impact you. We don't do nothing to impress you. Okay. When I bring my guests on, we don't come on up in here to impress nobody, and when I'm here, I don't come up in here to impress you either. You know, don't y'all worry about all my colors and all that stuff. I don't come up in here to impress nobody, just to impact you. Okay, and inspire one person. So with that said, let me tell you something. We do have a guest on tonight. And let me tell you, this author got some stuff. So y'all better, this is where y'all really need to get your writing tools. Or find somebody. I don't know what y'all gonna do, but she gonna come up in here with some stuff. We gonna Guppies away. You saw the trying to do? We gonna Guppies over there. That's somewhere. So with that said, let me stop talking. Let me stop running my mouth and just welcome our guest right here, Author Zen. Welcome, honey. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. I am really happy to be here, and I'm from Houston, Texas. And I have been an educator for 30 years. I retired recently in January. I've been a consultant since then. I have a podcast called the Zen Ase Podcast. I also have 4 books on Amazon. 3 of them are bestsellers. I'm also a spoken word artist, and I'm also an activist, and I work in the community. So I do quite a few things. You know, I put on wellness workshops. You know, so I do a lot of things in the community. So I'm willing to share my books with you guys, to share my insights, you know, how I've grown as a person. And I wanted to thank you for having me today.
Yes. Listen, honey. Audience, let me tell you something. I like when my guests come on and I just get starstruck, right? I just like, huh? My guests be coming on, and y'all just be having a whole long list of achievements and all this great stuff. And I was like, because I try to write things down, because this is why you hear me. I encourage the audience to write things down. I try, honey. I try to write things down, and I'm like, huh? First of all, the first thing that I got, you said you retired in this past January.
Yes, ma'am.
Listen, let me get my cheering thing. Hold on a second, huh? Because you see, let me tell you, I like to celebrate up in here. So listen to me, audience. Listen, we like to celebrate up in here. This is the reason why I said, come on up in here. Come on up with your water, your stuff, whatever you drink, your wine, whatever it is, because here we like to celebrate. Honey, let me tell you, we like to celebrate up in here. And when I said to have your water, whatever you drink from, your cup, your spoon, your bowl, whatever, it's because here we like to celebrate small win, big win, whatever win. Whether it is your anniversary, birthday, husband, birthday, children, birthday, horse, other stuff, we like to celebrate up in here. So when we say, put in the comment that you're drinking something, we just put our thing up and say, cheers. Cheers. So I want to celebrate you. I mean, listen, something is added. Retirement. Hey, now
Well,
we
thank
adding
you.
that. Hey, sister. Oh,
Thank
let
you.
me get my thing. Hold on, honey, because I get real extra. Ah, yes. 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 Yes, to retire from a regular job is a great accomplishment. That's a big milestone. That oh Jesus, I go and pray for myself because I go get me. I go and get me. Yes, indeed. So say, Lord, congratulations.
Thank you.
Mm, this is a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. And then you just went down the list and you had a whole bunch of stuff going on. And then you got 4 books and then all this other stuff. Honey, I don't know what I'm not. Look, I'm just going to celebrate it the whole time.
Well,
So
I
now we
appreciate
say,
that.
ooh, activists. Look, I didn't write all of that down. I'm just trying to remember. You know, all that beautiful things down, and author and activist and podcaster and all sort of stuff. I like it. I like it. I celebrate you. I like it. Yes, indeed. I like it. Yes, ma'am. Hey, that's what I'm talking about up in here, up in here. Now, people, don't y'all worry. Everybody have their own achievement. Oh, Paulette, welcome. I see Paulette here. Paulette, welcome, welcome, welcome. Let me tell you, everybody got to have their own achievement, honey. Yes, indeed. And I love it. Love it, love it, love it. Um, Audience, who's this? Happy to have you. Yes, Dina is welcoming you. Yes, indeed. Anticipating to hear more about this, about your book. Yes, she's anticipating. She's waiting to hear. Oh, yes, indeed. So now listen. For those of us, because I had to go Google, I had to go to Dr. Google. For those of us who don't know what is Guppies, tell us what that is.
Well, I got divorced in 2014, 9 years ago. And, there's a lot of negative messages, especially now about, oh, you women hit the wall and you're going to be lonely with cats and you're going to be single and no man's going to want you and all these kind of things. So when I got divorced, I had some fears, but I knew it was really time for me to get divorced. And I knew that I had done as much as I could to save that marriage, and it was really kind of killing me on the inside, and I just really needed to leave. And so I was going through therapy, I was doing other things, but I was really ready to date because I had felt so neglected in that relationship. So I started to do online dating. So people say there's plenty of fish in the sea. That's a saying that a lot of us have heard. Well, my thought was there were actually plenty of guppies because you end up throwing most of them back. Very few of them are worth, reeling in and keeping. So the book was kind of a joke on the plenty of fish in the sea idea that a lot of people say. So the title of my memoir is Plenty of Guppies and Other Dating Misadventures, because it covers 7 years of my life, and in 7 years I actually went on 147 dates, and 101 are in the book, and every guy has a nickname, and there's actually 97 poems in the book as well. But in dating a lot of people, I actually learned a lot about myself. I learned a lot about love, about relationships. And I went through a whole process of like self discovery and healing. And so dating was actually a part of that because I was very naive before I got married really young, had little experience, and I hadn't experienced a whole lot of things until I got divorced in my 40s. So some people do a lot of exploration in their 20s. I actually didn't do that exploration to my 40s. So that's where the word guppies comes from. It's kind of like a little joke on the plenty of fish in the sea.
I love this already. I love it. Kevin, welcome, Kevin. Why? Oh, wow. I'm just blown away already. This is it's like a whole new, it's like a facelift. It's like a facelift to so many fish in the sea.
Right.
I love it. I love, oh, wow. So you got divorced 9 years ago. You said 9 years. All right.
Yes, June 16th of 2014 was when I got divorced, and I actually started dating immediately because I felt like I had been grieving for the last several years of that relationship, and I had been
Mm,
in therapy, and I was just, because I had pretty much, they say women check out emotionally, first. And I had been kind of begging and pleading, and can we work on this? Can we do this? And he had checked out too. And we were just kind of there for the kids. And when
there
my
you
kids
go.
graduated high school, I had told him, I was like, if they walk across that stage, there were basically two things I'd ask him to do to show me he really wanted to be married to me, which was take me out once a month and go to the doctor to find out why he had erectile dysfunction. And he refused to do both. That was how little he wanted to invest in the relationship. And I gave him 4 years to just do those two things to show his investment. And he refused until I literally filed for divorce. And then he was, please, I went to the doctor. They told me I have, diabetes. I'll work on it, but I was like, it's done now,
Yeah, yeah.
and that was 6 weeks after I filed. I was like, I've given you 4 years, to just do those two things, and you couldn't do that. So yeah,
And
that
and
was where I started.
and that, before we go into question, because we're going to have questions from the audience as well. And that is a crazy thing about men. They wait for us to decide, drastic decision. They're like, oh, I changed. Oh, I'm converted. Who? Right? So you gave 4 years. Like, bro, I'm giving you 4 years. Like, let's get this together. Like, I'm not telling you to go take a star out of the sky and bring to me. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, like, can we check on this, because we need to balance, right? We need to balance. And if you are having ED, we're like, we need to balance, and like, hey, I need satisfaction up in here, right? So when we need satisfaction, bro, we need to work on, because I'm checking myself and you need to check yourself. We're not producing children, but we need to have some form of satisfaction up in here. But you don't want to do that, sir. But if you don't want to do that, simply means you're saying, I don't care. You simply mean saying, I'm not here to please you. I'm not here. No, that's my problem. I'm holding this in. That is not how a relationship is. A relationship for two people over here. We on this side. So you can't just come in thinking only of yourself. And this is where I'm trying to raise this level of consciousness again. Because we got to be conscious of the other person.
Yes.
Right? We got to be conscious, because no, you're dealing with something, it's affecting me.
Yes.
Any decision that we make, it affects somebody else.
Right.
It doesn't matter. Any decision is going to affect somebody else. So you are sitting there, you having an issue. I'm like, okay, we discovered that there's an issue. So can you go figure why? No,
Right.
absolutely not.
And to go back a little further, we were married. The question on the screen: how many years
Yeah.
were you married before the divorce? I was married 11 years to him. I had been married previously, so this was actually my second marriage.
Okay.
So 2 years into my second marriage, he started having erectile dysfunction issues, and I asked him to go to the doctor at that point, and he said, "I won't. I'm not going to." So I backed off, and I tried to do research on my own. Here's some herbs, here's some pills, creams, pumps, patches, everything I could find. We tried all that stuff. None of that worked. And we did that for 5 years. And at that point, I was like, I've done everything I know to do. You know what I mean? I've tried to dress sexy. I've tried to set the mood. I've tried to do everything I can do to entice you. I've done everything. I don't know anything else. I've exhausted everything on my end.
Yeah.
So can you please just these two things? I was like, kids are going into high school. My kids actually came to me and said they were very active. So I took them to a baseball game or something they were doing. And afterwards we went out to eat, and they said, when we graduate, we think you and dad are going to get divorced, because you guys only talk about us, the house, and the bills. You don't even look at each other.
There you go. Roommates.
And I went home and I told my husband, I was like, the kids think we're getting ready to get divorced as soon as they get graduated. And I agree with them. We don't have a relationship.
There you go.
I was like, so I'm going to ask you for two things. Go to the doctor, find out what's causing the erectile dysfunction, and take me out once a month. We need to work on our relationship. We got 4 years before they graduate. If you can't do that, then I'm going to I'm going to get a divorce
That's
because we
it.
won't have a relationship. There'll be no reason for me to stay.
No.
And he told me, you are too family oriented. You will not divorce me.
Ooh, don't underestimate a woman mouth now. Hey, no, no, you
Yeah.
don't underestimate that, sir. No.
Yeah.
Oh,
And I told him, I
you
know
see that?
myself. And at that point, if I've given you, at that point, it would have been 9 years total to, to fix this. And you won't even try. That I'm gonna feel like I've gone above and beyond to do what I can do, and I'm not gonna be regretful. I'm not gonna be embarrassed or ashamed or feel sorry because I gave you as much as I could. You know what I mean? And now it's affected me because I was starting to overeat because of the stress, and
Yeah.
my self-esteem was in the toilet. So it was just really mentally affecting me. So it wasn't just affecting him, as you already said. It wasn't just affecting him. So by the time we got divorced, the last 8 months of our relationship, he hadn't even touched me, like not even a hug, a kiss, nothing. I'm laying in the bed with somebody that won't touch me. And so
Because
I
at
was
that
really
point,
ready
see,
to just get out and even feel like I wasn't invisible to men. And
but you
so
know
that's
what he
where
did
the
at
book
that
starts.
time?
Hmm?
Sorry. Go ahead.
That's where my memoir starts in chapter 1, when I'm walking out of the courthouse and I've set up my dating profile and I'm ready to meet these men. And I in the first chapter I have 16 dates, and then I meet my first friend with benefits, who was an amazing man. We were together for 6 months, and he was such a wonderful, sweet, gentle person. And he was a big part of my healing journey. And that's another thing. Some people say you should be completely healed when you get into a relationship or when
Mhm.
you start to date. I don't know if people are ever completely healed, because I feel
Mm-mm.
like as much as I've been in therapy and I've journaled and I've done workshops and I've
Mm-mm.
meditated and I've been on this healing
Forever.
for a long time, there's still things that come up from my childhood. There's still triggers that happen. So I don't know that I'll ever be healed. I
Right.
will be better. I will be more
Right. Right.
healed.
There's
But I
no
think
such
healing
thing.
is a journey, it's not a destination. So I kind of got to a point where I didn't feel like I was toxic to anybody.
Right.
And then I started to date, and so that dating was literally a part of me learning myself, regaining my confidence, learning a lot about relationships, all of that. Yes.
Yes, it was a theater. Yeah. Because you see what happened there?
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes we're in a relationship, and I think I read this somewhere. We're in a relationship, but we're not in the relationship,
Mm.
right? So I'm with you, but I already left.
Mm. Yeah.
And even though you're the one that filed for the divorce, he left.
Mm-hmm.
He been gone.
Mm-hmm.
He was gone before you even like, oh, I'm filing for divorce. Because men don't want to hear us saying that we're filing for divorce.
Mm.
Because now things crash. You just scratch the ego thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
But when they do it, it's okay. But mhm. But when we say, oh, we're filing for divorce, that's a whole different story. So men don't want to hear that. But guess what happened? He already left you somewhere along the line. Because when
Mm-hmm.
he don't even want to look at you, he don't want to touch you. No, he's not there.
Mm-hmm.
Because even though he was having ED, it still called for a little compassion, a little comfort, a little hug, a little understanding, something beside all of that, right?
Right.
Something it don't have to go into a sexual thing. Because I mean that is important, but it's more intimate,
Right.
right? Where's the intimacy? That's gone. He already
Right.
buried all of that. So now he's only focusing only on this one little thing.
Mm-hmm.
Sir, that's that you intimacy mean just give me a little hug, give me a little kiss, give me a little kiss on my forehead, touch my arm, take me out to dinner or something.
Right. Right. Right.
Let's go down the road. Let's go have McDonald's or something if you don't want, if you know what I'm saying. Let's go
Right.
have a
Right.
milkshake or something.
Yeah.
So that's simple. So he left you somewhere along the line. At what point you said how many years after you got married did he have that?
So, 2 years into our marriage, he
Years.
started having erectile dysfunction issues. And at that point, at the 2 year point, which we had had a really wonderful relationship up to that point, it was very loving, close. I mean, I was super, super happy. I mean, I was very happy, very in love. At that point, he told me he had high blood pressure and he had hid that from me. He hid the fact that he would take medication, the fact that he would go to the doctor. He didn't even let me know. So he told me at that point, I think it's my high blood pressure. And I was like, high blood pressure? When did you get diagnosed with that? He was like, oh, I had it when we met. I was like, that's the kind of thing I should know about as your wife, as your girlfriend.
Thank you.
You know, and he was like,
I'm
just going to go to the doctor and I'm going to get my medication changed. And he had his medication changed several times and that didn't fix it. So that was a blow to me as his wife. It's like, what are you hiding from me? I thought we were open and honest with each other, but you got a whole medical diagnosis that you think is impacting your ability to have sex, and this is the first time I'm learning about it, and you had it when we met.
There you go.
And so that was kind of like the first, in a sense, red flag that this man was not being honest with me, and he wasn't going to allow me to be a part of his healing journey as far as physically, that he was going to just not want to deal with it and, in a sense, be kind of in denial about things. And I think the denial that he had was very strong, you know, and I know that he dealt with depression, and I tried to be there for him, but, you know, it comes a point in time when you can't fix somebody. You can't make them want better for them than they want for themselves. You know,
no, you can't fix them because first of all, you're doing and you did all of that, but at the end of the day, we got to do individual first. Right? So individually, I got to work on myself. And they're like, oh, yeah, I'm working with you. Okay. Individually, I got to see me and then I got to see you. If I'm not seeing me first, so he's not taking responsibility for himself first. So you are overwhelming yourself. Like, hey, I'm working on me. I'm working on you. Where we doing working on the children. I'm working on the house, the cat, the rat, the dog. I'm doing all of this. So you're just going to sit back like, I somewhere along the line, I made a statement years ago, and it says that you divorced before you got married. Okay, so that was a statement I made some years back, and that was look at me like, what? I said, no, you can be divorced before you got married. So in a case like this, divorce before you got married.
Yeah, so you know, and so fast forward to going through these experiences, and I actually never intended on writing the book. People would say, okay, you're doing all of this poetry about your healing journey, about your dates, about, you know, love and relationships. Where's your poetry book? And eventually I ended up, you know, writing the book. So this is actually the book. This is my copy of it. Actually, it was returned to me from a reader, and it's got a lot of Post-it notes, a little tab.
Oh my God.
Because she bought this and she said, I want you to know my reaction. So she said, the pink is for all the stuff that tickled me pink. She was like, this book is hilarious. Some of these men you went out with, they were hilarious. The things that they said to you had me rolling. And then she said, the blue was for stuff that made me sad. Because in the book isn't just about dating. It's 7 years of my life. In that 7-year period, I had 13 deaths, including my mother.
13 deaths, you said?
13 deaths in 7 years, yes. So I ended up going through a lot of grief processes. My best friend passed, my mentor passed. So you see me go through these the process of grief and all the stages of grief with these different people. And it's different for each one because each one had a different impact. I became a grandmother during this period of time. I became a business owner. I became a performer. So you see a lot of personal growth, a lot of transitions. You see me taking a lot of risks and asking myself a lot of questions. So you get to see all of this mental and emotional growth. So at the end of every chapter, there's actually a lesson. So there's 26 chapters and there's 26 lessons. And so another color that she put, orange were her favorite poems, and then green was stuff that she was like aha moments for her, like she learned things from it, and then yellow were things that she'd always thought but she never heard anybody else say.
Mm-hmm.
She was like, oh my God, I felt like I saw myself in the book. And so it's not really just a book for women, or
Right.
it's for anybody, because there are men who want to understand women better.
Yes.
There are women who are single or married or divorced, and they're going through these different stages of healing. Maybe they're going through their kids growing up and leaving home, because I deal with that. Maybe they're going through starting a business. Maybe they're going through grief. Maybe they're going through issues in their relationship, because I did have two committed relationships after my divorce.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, I went on 147 dates.
147. Well, hold on. I missed that number. Hold on.
So you
Wait
get
a
to see
minute.
a lot of different types of men and a lot of different types of male mentalities.
Yes.
Because I'm literally, I journal. So I was
Yes. I
journaling about
like
like
to
the
journal
way
too.
these men thought, and the things that they said to me, and what did that mean, and what kind of woman did they think I was to say this to me or expect
Yes.
this from me. So you get to see a lot of different types of men with a lot of different types of mentalities. So I got exposed to a lot, so there was a lot of people read it for the stories. A lot of people read it for the poetry. A lot of people read it because they want to see what it's like to be 40 something and divorced. Because contrary to some of the podcasts out there, I didn't have any problem getting dates.
Right. There you go. Right.
When I put my profile up, I thought I was going to have problems. Everybody was telling me I was going to have problems. I had 100 inboxes in 3 days from men wanting to take me out. And I'm sitting there like, I couldn't get my husband to take me out, but but I've got 100 men wanting to take me out
in that fast.
that fast. So and I'm not gonna say that on every every dating app it's like that, because I've tried different dating apps, and I actually tried 7 different ones. So some are not as active as others. Some are, people have different agendas.
I never tried those.
So yeah. So, it was a very different experience than what I expected, because I expected to get no attention at all. I'm plus size. I'm a size 18.
You don't worry about that.
I know, but I'm just saying, people act like if you're over 25, if you're not a size 0, if you're Black. I had so many different ethnicities trying to take me out. So it was a totally different experience than what people on social media say.
Yeah.
And I know I'm just one person. I can only tell you my experience, but my experience is it wasn't difficult to find men to date me. It was extremely easy. So
and you know what happened with that? Because what happened, because your husband, I think Georgia just put that somewhere, because your husband put a block. It was a blockage, right? So you was not even seeing your value. You was not even seeing your beauty. You was not seeing your worth for yourself, because your husband already put up the wall like, girl, no, bye. Because that's in the same way he said, you ain't going nowhere. So he already put that up, that limitation to you, like, girl, bye. No. So somebody 100 men gonna like, oh, look at this beautiful, intelligent lady. We want to talk to her, right? So you're like, not me. Who you talking about? Me? No. Right? So you're able to limit yourself. So you're able to carry the block is like, oh, me? No, I'm sorry, wrong person. No, right person.
Right. So I think that the book came out because it came out in 2022. So the book came out at a time when a lot of women were getting a lot of negative messages. And I think that a lot of women resonated with the book, and they would give it to their friends that were getting divorced. They would give it to their single friends who were like, I don't know if what's online dating like, So it was a book that a lot of women bought as gifts, and a lot of men brought it as gifts. I had men buy the book for their daughters.
There you go.
Because they're like, I want them to know that there's all these different types of men out there.
There you go.
If they get approached by this man, they already have in their head kind of how they want to deal with this kind of person. Because, we think of men are very different. Women are very different.
Yes, they're set up different.
So it's not one type of guy. And another thing people say, good guys. What does that mean?
What
Like,
is
I
that?
met a lot of different types of men, and I don't know whether they were good or not. They were just people. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, yes,
With their own pros and cons, right?
yes, yes.
So in writing the book, I was able to kind of shine a light on healing, on dating, on relationships, on men and women, how we think differently,
Yeah,
on divorce, on, just, it's a lot of different topics that are covered in the book.
I like it. I like. Before we go anywhere, where can people get that book?
It's on Amazon. It's also on barnesandnoble.com, but most people get on Amazon. It looks like this. So you see she's got her hands in the water, and she's got a bunch of men in her hands. So it's called Plenty of Guppies and Other Dating Misadventures. And I also have 4 other books on Amazon. I have a children's book called You Are Wanted and Loved Because You're You.
Yes.
And I have a guided journal called Zenergize Your Life. And I have a planner that's undated called the Ultimate Me Planner.
All right.
And this one has journaling in it, as well as agendas, weekly reflection pages, and all that stuff. So, thank you for the.
Isn't it beautiful? Like, it's just a beautiful. Yeah, like, listen. You see, people. Let me just say this. You're like the honeybee, darling. You're the honeybee.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're the honeybee. And I think it was somebody up in the top, Theta. Theta said hats off to 147 dates. Okay? You're the honeybee.
Yeah.
You're the honeybee. So consider yourself the honeybee.
Yes.
And honey just like, ooh, honey baby. Like,
Yes,
excuse me. The bee just like sit there, and the honey just sit there, and the bee just like, hey, yeah, honey, that's it. You consider yourself the honeybee. Like what?
Yes.
Yeah. Like you see all of this goodness.
Yes.
You see all this goodness because somebody do see all that goodness.
Yes.
And somebody says your husband lost. Somebody says the husband lost. You see, they have a saying that says the cow don't know the use of his tail until he loses it.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so guess what happened? His tail was for a purpose. But guess what? You don't worry. You serve a purpose, darling.
Yes.
You serve a purpose. And welcome, Dave. Welcome. And you see, somewhere you said 147, but I want to go with a different number. We're in that 147 because you know how they talk about dating 101? What's your 101?
Well, I think for me, what I learned about dating was to really have my standards and my preferences and know them very well, and not to believe that they couldn't be met, because I had some and I ended up in relationships with them. And also to realize that sometimes people come into your life for a reason, a season, or a lifetime, right?
Yes.
So I don't feel that because those relationships didn't end in marriage, they were failures, because those men actually really impacted my life, really changed my life, really were blessings to me. So another thing was to kind of reframe relationships, that sometimes you're just meant to come into somebody's life, or they're meant to come into your life for a time.
I was
just supposed to really enjoy that time.
Yes.
And to not feel any kind of way, like any kind of failure about being single. I have become so content about being single, and I've kind of decentered men, because what I realized was I spent almost my entire adult life pouring into my first husband and then my second husband, and not pouring into me.
There you go.
So in the 9 years I've been divorced, I've received a congressional award. I retired early. I started a podcast. I wrote 4 books. I've been published over a dozen times. I did none of that married. None of it.
There you go.
So I tapped into my greatness.
Yes.
By being single.
Yes.
And focusing on my goals and my dreams, and pulling all that stuff off the back shelf and putting it on the front shelf.
Yes.
And so for me, and I can't speak to every woman, I realized that all of that energy that I was pouring into a man, now that I diverted it to my life, look at all the things that I
There you
produced.
go.
Look at, I have a whole legacy that I probably wouldn't have had if I would have stayed married, because I wasn't thinking about any of those things when I
You're
was
thinking
married.
about pleasing the
I knew
man.
I had talents, but I wasn't even exploring them because I was trying to save my marriage.
Hello. You think you're putting that energy over there, huh? You're
Hmm.
depleting yourself. You're putting energy there, and what happened? We got to think about having purpose partner, because purpose
Yes.
partner is coming in to extract the very gift that you have to bring it up. You having it, you know that you have it. You're like, okay, I know I'm talented. I do, but if you are not purpose to come in as a partner to me to help that come out, then you're not serving no purpose here, sir.
And another thing I want to say, they say women, feminine, and all that stuff, feminine energy. Okay, so if a woman is a flower, let's just take that
As a
metaphor.
fellow, yes.
A flower doesn't grow the best in rocky soil.
All right.
It needs to be in good soil, and it needs to be watered and have sun. So when I kind of pull myself out of that rocky soil where I was constantly fighting for survival,
Right.
and I put myself in good soil, I started caring for myself more. I started, really, really loving myself more, right? Then I was able to really bloom. And
Singleness
so
is a ministry. I just want to say that.
yeah. So one thing,
Singleness
I
is a
don't want to
ministry.
put that all on men, because sometimes women will say, "Oh, you need to be a man and help me be in my feminine energy,"
Now,
and there's a part of that that's true. But I also think as women, we have to decenter men, and we have to say, "Okay, I always have to put myself first, and I always have to make sure that I'm in the best soil that I need to be in, so that I can bloom." If
yes.
that means that I can't have this man in my life, I can't have him in my life. Because if I'm not blooming, then I'm wilting.
There you
And it's
go.
kind of either one or the other, you
There you
know?
go.
So that's one of the things that I had to learn, because I was kind of raised, I'm 53, okay? So I'm a little maybe older than some people that are on this live, I don't know. But I was raised like, you go to college, you get married, you have kids,
There you go.
and
That's the
you'll be happy.
expectation of society.
Yeah, you'll be happy. But my experience was, I went to college, I got married, I had kids, and I was unhappy, and I was
There you
chasing that
go.
happiness,
Uh-huh. See?
in the relationship.
Yeah.
Like, if I can fix the relationship, I'll be happy. And then I realized, no,
That's not it.
that's not it. I'm
That's
going to
not
be
it.
happy when I'm actually living my purpose,
Living out your purpose.
and really blooming as a person. Whatever I was put here to do, I'm doing that. And whoever comes alongside me to share that journey, I'm going to be grateful for them for however long they're in my life,
And that's the thing, because right now you at a point, you already mark your legacy spot, right? You
Yeah.
mark your legacy spot. You got 4 books up your belt and
Yes.
other stuff, right?
Yes.
But
Yes.
just from one book alone, it's a legacy. Okay,
Yes.
one book alone is legacy. You got 4 up your belt. Congratulations on those 4.
Thank you.
But what happened? You set a high standard just now, right?
Right.
At this very moment, your standard is high. And
Right.
there's no way under the sun you should put no form of anything to bring that expectation down of who you're supposed to be attracting. Because
Right.
what happened when you look at yourself of who you are at this point, that which you will attract.
Yes.
Right, so you already look at yourself like, oh no, I'm in this. I'm in my legacy mode. So
Right.
anyone that's coming here, if you are not coming in here to help my legacy grow, honey, you're just coming for a time. You're just coming for a season. You might be coming to teach me a little bit thing or two, but you're not the purpose partner. At this moment, let me tell you, at this moment, you need a purpose partner.
Yes.
That's it. At this moment, you need a purpose partner, because you already set in the pace. You already got the soil. You already tilled the soil. You already said, listen, I'm ready planting my stuff. I already put in the seeds, honey. Listen, I'm from a farmer's background, so I like to use analogy with farming. You put in the seed, honey, and when you put in the seed, something gonna grow.
Yes. Mhm.
And right now, you did not only put in the seed, baby. Your tree got growing, going. You got your tree growing up, and you're bearing fruits.
Yes.
You're bearing fruits. So guess what? Somebody got to come in to help you pick them fruits, baby.
Okay.
I'm just
I
saying.
receive it. I receive it.
Somebody gotta come in to help you pick them fruits
Mm.
because you can't carry them fruits by yourself.
Yes. Yes.
You're not going to be carrying them fruits by yourself. I'm like, Lord, no. Mm-mm. You can't carry them fruits by yourself. So at this moment, I declare that you welcome a purpose partner.
Yes.
It is not that you just like, hey, because somewhere along them 147, because I got to make sure my
Yes.
numbers right. Right there, somewhere along them 147, somebody's like, hey.
Yes.
And listen, 140, it might be looking.
True. That's very
I'm
true.
just, I'm just saying. 148 might be like, hey, you didn't reach me yet. I didn't find you yet. Because you
Yes.
see, when a man find a wife, he find a good thing. Your
Yes.
husband didn't know that.
Yes. Very
You
true.
didn't know that because you see, when you find a good thing, that's when God bless you.
I agree.
So
There's a comment on the screen that says a lot of women were taught to stay and suffer. And I agree because it took me a long time to leave
there you
because
go. And you knew the
felt,
problem.
I felt like I'd already, my first marriage was violent, physically violent, right?
How many years you spent there?
I was 6 years in that marriage.
There you go.
So it took me a while to leave that because I
Mm-hmm.
was like, okay, I'm not supposed to get divorced. We're supposed to be together, death do us
Mm-hmm.
part. But then I was
Mm-hmm.
like, mm-mm. I went to a
Mm-hmm.
therapist and she said, why is it your job only to fix this relationship? You
Mm-hmm.
asked your husband to come to therapy. He refused. So why are you taking all this on you? And I didn't
Mm-hmm.
have an answer for that because I was trained that it was my job to
There
keep
you
the
go.
family together. And
Yes.
I had to let that go because I can't control a grown man. I can't make him change. I can't stop. I've done everything I can do. I was walking around eggshells, around with that man,
There you
trying
go.
to do everything he wanted so he wouldn't get set off. It still wasn't good enough. You know what I mean? So once I left that, it was like, okay, if I get married again, I'm gonna make sure I make this work. I'm gonna pick the right man. He's
But you
gonna
see what you
commit
were
towards
doing. You
her.
see what you were
He's
doing.
not gonna be violent. All this stuff, and all of that was true. He was a man of character. He wasn't violent. He was a great father. I could not have asked for a better father for my kids.
Mm-hmm.
All right, but he was a horrible husband. He was
There
selfish.
you go.
He
Good
was
father and
selfish,
bad husband.
and so like I said, I stayed, but then I realized at a certain point, this is killing me. And I also realized that I was becoming bitter. And eventually, this mouth right here, this is a very eloquent mouth, but this mouth was about to tear him down because I was becoming so angry and bitter.
Yes.
And I was like,
Bit of
I have two
resentment.
sons. I cannot use this mouth to tear this man down. This man that they love, this man that has raised them. I have to separate while we're still friends, while we still have respect for each other, while I can still treat him with, with decency.
Yes.
I need to, because I'm becoming bitter. I'm angry
Yes.
because he's
Yeah.
not doing anything that I'm
Yeah.
asking him to do. He doesn't care. He's selfish. He's hurting me. And I was like, I have to leave because I could feel all the
The
negativity
emotional
coming up and it
abuse.
just wanted to come out. And I was like, I can't,
Like, girl, hold your
I
peace.
can't do that. So it's time for me to go. It's time for me to go.
Yeah.
I've taken all I can take
Yeah.
without becoming angry and bitter and the claws coming out. I was
Yes.
like, I can't. I don't want to tear down their father
Yeah.
because their first father abandoned them. This was the man that came in, took them over like they were his children, and I cannot. Yeah, my children are from my first husband.
Okay.
So
Okay.
when I got divorced, they were 6, about to be 7, and so when we got married, he was the man in their life.
Okay.
Up all the way from 7 years old, and he actually passed a few years ago.
Oh,
So
their father?
no, my second husband passed. The very thing that he got diagnosed with, because he left it untreated for like 9 years, killed him. Because he had so much damage done to his body because he was so stubborn and wouldn't go to the doctor.
Men, listen in.
Yeah. So
Uh-huh.
and my kids, they loved their father so much. They're, my second husband.
Yeah.
They loved him so much. It broke their hearts, you know what I mean, when he died early. Because, I'm only 53. He
So
was
yeah,
50,
and he died a couple of
he
years
was
back.
53 when he died. He died 2 years ago. So he was 53 when he died. of complications of diabetes.
You see?
And it was diabetes that was causing the erectile
Of
dysfunction.
course. Of
So
course, it is. And that's always that's one of the main factor in that. One of the main factor in ED is diabetes. Main factor.
yeah,
And look at that. You were there as the nurse, the wife, the caregiver, all of that. But again, when a man find a wife, he find a good, but he didn't see the good thing in you. He never saw the good thing. So there's no way he was going to take your teaching, your care, your loving, all of that, your compassion to help him heal.
right.
Preserve his health, prolong his life.
Right.
No. So, unfortunately, there's consequence to that.
Yes. Yes.
So we give our condolences to the children and to his family and all that good stuff. But there are consequences when we are disobedient, when we don't pay attention, when we are stubborn. There are consequences. So every decision that we make, there's always some form of consequence coming towards it. It affects us one way or the other. Every decision we make is going to affect us one way or the other. Yeah. A lot of raw stuff. We need a lot of raw. You just need to change your diet. When you change your
that was another thing I tried to get him to eat healthy, but I couldn't get the man to go to the doctor. I couldn't get him to eat healthy either. So
he didn't care.
Yeah.
He just did not care.
He would only eat what he liked to eat.
Yeah.
And it didn't matter what I cooked for him. If it was healthy, he only ate what he liked to eat.
That's it.
Yeah.
Because when you do that, you're not mentally aware that whatever decision you make, it's affecting the next person.
Right.
It's affecting the next person. So you got to be conscious of the decision. You don't care what I prepare because you want to go eat 10 burgers, but I'm giving you a nice plate of salad, darling. No, I don't want to eat that. I want to eat 10 burgers. Excuse me. I want to see you prolong your life.
Right.
No, he didn't want to see that.
Right.
He didn't want to see that. Oh, somebody said, yeah, God will send you the right husband to come into your life and treat you like a queen that you are.
Well, thank you. I accept that.
Like I said, number 40, 148 is somewhere.
Yeah.
He's like, don't y'all worry. God preparing me. God preparing. Yes, indeed. A lot of water. But more important, the H3O. A lot of water.
I'm telling you, I tried. He was a person that liked to drink a lot of soda. And eat a lot of fried foods and things like that. And I was like, I wouldn't even fry anything in the house. I was like, we need to eat baked foods. We need to do this. I could not,
there you go.
Very difficult. Very difficult to try to get him to eat anything healthy.
Soda,
Thank you for that.
Yeah, that soda is a no-no.
Yeah.
You see that frizzle in the soda? The frizzle in the soda, the sound, the frizzle in the soda, it gets into your joints, it gets into your bloodstream, and the same frizzle, that's exactly what happened to your system. It's the same thing. Every part of your body, that frizzle go in, and that's all it's doing is frying up your body. So it's frying up your inside. So if you think about your intestine and you're consuming that soda, it's frying up your intestine. So can you imagine this man is sitting there drinking soda? What is happening? All of his all the cells are being fried up. So men, women, boy, girl, everybody out there who drinking, I try to tell you, I'm not a medical doctor, but I know a thing or two, okay? I know a thing or two. Listen in. Share this live, people. Share this live. Invite somebody else. Share this live. This is very important. I think somebody put it up there. It's a very interesting topic. It's very interesting. It's a very interesting topic because so many men are going through this, but they don't want to deal with it in the way it's supposed to be dealt with.
Yeah.
And it's so sad. And you're breaking up relationship that you would like to have. Women would like to have these lovely relationships with these lovely men, but no, they don't care.
Yeah.
You're not pleasing just yourself, sir. You're pleasing a woman. You're in a relationship to please the other person. Not you just like, oh, no, it's a two-way street.
Right.
A
Right.
relationship is a two-way street, not a one-way street. A one-way street, you might just go in the wrong way, you crash.
Mm-hmm.
No.
Yes.
Some people will not even change how they eat if their life depends on it. I'm trying to tell you, Paulette. I'm trying to tell you. You like, honey, this will say, no, I'm used to eating that. I'm used to eating that. No, it's not everything that you're used to eating, you must continue to eat.
Right. Very true.
I'm just
Very
saying.
true. Very
It's
true.
not everything that you, oh, my grandmama did that, or this been in the family for about 10 generations. We've been cooking like this for years. Can you check your health status?
Yeah.
Huh? Check your health status because your grandmama did about 10 pounds of butter and you come in doing 10 pounds of butter. Education is now a little bit better than your grandmother time.
Yes. Very true. Very true.
So why are you continuing the same thing? Rolling from your grandmother 10 pounds of butter, making one piece of cake, 10 pounds of butter, and you come in doing the same thing. Why?
Mm. Yeah.
You're putting yourself at risk. You're killing your own self. And you see, sometimes we see people dying is because they're killing themselves subconsciously. Consciously they do it, but subconsciously they're killing themselves.
Right.
Because education is there, information is there, and information is there more than 2, 3, 4, 5 generations ago.
Yeah.
It's there.
Very true.
So why is it that we are killing ourselves when we can be better? Why? Me right here. I'm already plead out. Like, excuse me, I'm putting in for 50 more years.
Mm.
I'm already pleading that. I'm already putting my bargain. Like, excuse me, God, 50 more years.
Gotcha. Mm-hmm.
50 more years. Like, no. No. I'm losing friends because I'm eating. See what I'm trying to see? This is what I'm saying. Eating healthy. Not everyone is making that want to come around because this is what I'm saying. Because no, you're eating healthy, but they want you to be drinking and eating all sort of stuff because that's what they used. So now when you change your eating habit to eat healthier, they're like, no, you're not our friends anymore. We don't want to be your friend. But if you sit there eating unhealthy, drop down in front of them, they're like, oh, you should have been eating healthier.
Yeah.
Hello, conflict of interest.
Yeah, very true.
But now, let me know. I want to change my diet. Why you want to change your diet? Why you want to eat healthy? Because I want to live a little bit longer.
Yeah.
I want to live a little bit longer. Dave, continue to eat. Continue to do what you're doing. Yes, indeed. Continue to do what you're doing. Don't let nobody detour you from your healthy lifestyle. Because only you know how long you want to live. Maybe your husband didn't want to live long.
Well, there's a lot of things that go together. Like, for example, I knew that he was dealing with depression. I got him into therapy, and he wouldn't stay consistent with that.
There you
Because I
go.
thought, if we can get this together, then maybe we can get the body together. We can get him to the doctor to help him deal with the ED, with the eating, all that stuff. So it's all related.
Everything.
People have to be consistent, and they also have to realize that change means they have to move out of their comfort zone.
Yeah.
And for my ex-husband, he didn't want to go into the doctor, was uncomfortable for him. He didn't want to open his mouth and say, I have this issue. And I even told him, I was like, look, here, take my card. You don't have to pay for it. I'll pay for it.
Right.
I'll call the doctor and tell him what the issue is.
Right.
And I'll tell a nurse,
Right.
I mean, I will do everything I can do for you, but I can't physically be there for you. I'm saying? You are the one who's going to have to get the test done. You are the one who's going to have to take the medication. You're the one who's going to have to change your diet. I will help you as much as I can.
Right.
But some people are just not willing to move out of their comfort zone because they're afraid. One of the things he told me was, I don't want to know what's wrong with me. And I'm like, how could you not want to know? Because I'm scared. It's not gonna go away.
It's not gonna go away.
Because you ignore it. If you put your fingers over your eyes, it doesn't stop it from being there. So fear is a powerful thing, but sometimes we have to just face fear.
We can conquer it
and move through it. And move through our comfort zone, and just, even if it's just taking baby steps, even if it's changing a few things until you get comfortable with that, and then changing a few more things. but I couldn't get him to do that. And that's one thing that's really sad, I think, about some men, and I've even dealt with this with my own sons. They hit a wall sometimes, they get rejected, or they have a bad experience and they want to give up. And I was like, with my sons, I was like, you can't do that.
No, listen
You
now, there's
can't.
no such thing here. Mm-mm.
Yeah,
Mm-mm.
we all hit a wall. We all get rejected. We all have unexpected things happen to us. Nobody has a life that's all sunshine and rainbows.
No.
But we all have to pick ourselves up and move forward, And sometimes I've seen, even in my sons, I've seen it in a lot of Black men, that it's like they get hit and then they want to lay down and mope and pretend like, okay, I'm fine where I am. I'm not going to try again.
No.
You can't do that, because there are too many negative consequences to having that victim mentality, to having that defeated mentality. And in his case, because he didn't want to face the fear of going to the doctor until I filed for divorce, and it's 6 weeks after I done filed for divorce, I'm actually dating somebody, and now you want to go to the doctor.
No.
And now you want to say, I went to the doctor, I have this diagnosis, can we get back together? No, we can't get back together. No. I'm glad you went. I'm so happy you went.
No, take care of yourself.
Yeah, now it's time for you to take care of yourself, because I gave you the opportunity to do this with me.
And I want to speak to the men for a second, because what men got to realize, that we were created as their helper. We were not created just to be there. We were created as your helper. So you got a diagnosis. We are here to assist you. You got a little mental. We were created to assist you. We are you, and men got to get this in their head. They got to get this concept. They got to wrap their head around this, that we are their helper. So you can't just get something, tuck it underneath the sheet, tuck it underneath the bed, tuck it under the table, start hiding it from us. You hiding it is not solving anything. It's not solving anything. Men, this is not solving anything. You don't want to share with us, that is not solving anything. Because at the end of the day, you're putting yourself in danger, because you're not giving us the opportunity to help you, because that's what we were created for. And you sitting there helping this man, and he's like, no, I don't want your help. No, I don't want your help. You see, no, when you're trying to inspire him of a healthier lifestyle, he's not motivating himself. Because I tell people this all the time. There's a difference between inspiring somebody and motivating somebody. You don't motivate nobody. Motivation is a personalized thing. Something to do for themselves. You move yourself, not me. I inspire you to move yourself. I don't motivate you. I don't motivate nobody. I inspire you to move yourself out of a circumstances and out of a situation. And you already know, because when you acknowledge that there's a situation, you got to move out of it. You got to move out of it, because you're not going to keep on just like your first marriage. You're in the marriage. It's abusive. Let me see how long am I going to stay in this abuse. Let me see how long how long can I tolerate this? How long can I tolerate? And after a point, you are going to explode. After a point, you're going to like, this is too much for me to carry. Because we carry a lot of things as women. Hey, we carry a whole human being now. We carry a whole human being. So we know what weight is. But after a while, the weight is too much.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
After a while, the weight is too much. And if you are sitting there and you're not being a partner so we can align up together, work together, then you're not going to be the person for me. We can't go through this journey together. No, you got to be right here. We're working this out together. I can't just want to be in this marriage. Right? And what we oftentimes do, we sit there, we want to do something because society says so.
Right.
The family name. I'm in church and I don't want things to look bad for me. So I'm going to stick this out. You know damn well you don't want to be there.
Right.
But because my family, because you know you don't want to be there. Because let me tell you something. There's something about us human beings. We are aware of things. Mm-hmm. We are aware of things. We know exactly what we want. We know exactly what we deserve. We know exactly what we don't want. So we know.
Right.
So we get to a point where like, I'm just staying here because I don't want to be here, but I'm staying because of the children. Uh-huh. Oh, I'm staying because I love you. Oh, I'm staying because you see, we find all sort of excuses to stay in our comfort zone.
Right.
A lot of excuses to stay in our comfort zone. But we got to start taking good risks on ourselves, and we move forward. We're moving
Yeah.
forward. We got to take good risks on ourselves. And listen, you're 147. I'm tilling my hat off for you, honey. You going out there. Yes, indeed. Ooh, let me tell you, Blenda, let me tell you, you helping somebody here tonight, honey. You helping somebody here tonight because let me tell you, for those of you out there who don't want to go and dates, listen right here. We're not trying to tell you to do 147 now, because you see, you get a special celebration right here tonight. But honey, let me tell you, because listen, we even going to prolong this episode because of you right here, because you that we cut off. But time is not the factor right here. We have information to give out. We have information. And let me tell you something, you're helping somebody here tonight. You're helping somebody here tonight. And this is why we're going to prolong this episode. People, thank you so much for being here. We're going to prolong this episode because you're helping somebody here tonight. Let me tell you something. Take good risk on yourself.
Yes.
Validate yourself.
Yes.
Validate yourself. And listen, I don't care what nobody say, honey. I talk to myself every day. You forget that statement where don't talk to yourself. I talk to myself every day. I say, girl, you look damn good. Girl, Talk to yourself every day. Look at yourself in the mirror. Every day you see that mirror, like pass that mirror, come back like, oh girl, that was you. You come back, you don't even look at this. Don't even look at this. Don't even look at no physical nothing, because your beauty is from your inside, huh? Your beauty is from your inside. And when your beauty is from your inside, when you look at the mirror, whether you're 5 pounds, 500 pounds, whatever it is, your beauty is from the inside. Let whatever is inside radiate, and then you find your greatness from your inside. To come out, you're like, ooh, whether I'm 5 pounds, 500 pounds, it don't matter at this point. I'm beautiful. I'm beautiful. You see, God didn't create pretty people. God didn't create pretty people. God create beautiful people. Ain't nobody pretty up in here. Ain't nobody pretty up in here. So don't even let your all of this fool you. We made this up. We made this up. We're not pretty. We're not pretty. You see, I try to tell people I'm a beautiful woman. I'm a beautiful woman. You start telling yourself that you're a beautiful woman. You start telling yourself that you have greatness inside of you. You see, all of that is from your inside. You see, beauty is not this. Beauty is from your inside.
Right.
And that beauty start attracting beauty. And when you start telling yourself that every single day, you see. And I'm going to tell you, I think I feel like I want to follow you. Like I feel like I want to do an undercover job and follow you. Right? You know what I'm saying? Let me tell you, we stand in support of you.
Well, I appreciate that.
Yes,
Thank you.
We stand here in support of you. We're standing here in support of you. Or somebody. See, we got men up here. We got men on this live here. We got men here, and they're talking about men. If you're out there, we got men over here giving you some remedy.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah. Listen to me. I like natural remedy. I try to tell you, and I have men up in here. They're giving some ideas up in here. You know what I'm saying? They're giving some remedy up in here. So that's what I try to tell you. But women, ladies, queens, sisters, listen here. It's right here. It's written right here. She shared her story with you. And I talk about this all the time. That when we share our story, it could be just a strategic way for somebody to get through something. When we share our story, it might just be a solution to get through something.
Yes.
Somebody's always waiting for our story. Now you got there, you're like, listen, I done date 147. I went on 147. Now who am I to go tell this story? You are you. Somebody might be like, girl, why would you want to go tell that you went on 147 days? That's none of your business. You see, I want to let somebody know that this can be done. And I want to let somebody know that this don't change who I am. That 147 don't change who we are. And I have a question right here, because I try to write a question down.
Okay.
I try to write a question down because 147. Because you see, I like that number too. I like 147. I like that number. I like that number.
Right.
There's something special about me on 147, but I ain't gonna go because it ain't my show. It's yours. It's not my story.
Okay. Okay.
I ain't gonna get into that, but I love that number 147. I love that number. But
Mhm.
anywho, this is about you. This is about you. But somewhere between that 147,
Right.
somewhere, where in that 147 did you develop yourself a little bit more?
Well, like I said, there were men that I met throughout the process of dating. Like date number 16, I met JJ, and he really helped me to do a lot of healing. He's in chapter 1, and actually I'm working on the audiobook right now, so you can actually listen to the first 11 chapters of the memoir on my podcast. So that link tree that you put,
Put
if
the
you
link
go
in
to,
the chat, honey. Put the link in the chat. Put the link in the chat. Put the link in
okay,
the
I'll
chat.
do that.
Put the link in
Yeah,
the
so
chat.
it's on Spotify, Pandora, any of those things.
Yeah.
So let me put this up. Yeah, but so let me see. It's asking me to connect my YouTube and everything.
Go for the chat.
Yeah, for some reason I'm trying to. Oh, okay. Let me go. I got you. For some reason it was asking me something else. But there were several people that really impacted me.
Yeah.
And like one of them was called the Muse. Now the Muse was a former photographer, and when I met him, he was doing security for. Okay, I put it in the private chat, so I don't know if you want it. I think you had it under my name. You had that link tree.
Oh.
My link tree. If you wanted to put that back up on the screen, because on my link tree it has like links to the podcast episodes and everything like that.
Okay.
I could probably put chapter. I don't know if I can go to.
Oh no, wait, it's on the other one. Okay, so
I can send you the link to chapter 1 later if you want to put it in there. But if anybody goes episode 1, I'm sorry, let me restate that. Episode 67 on my podcast is chapter 1. So if they were to look at the podcast, like on Spotify or Pandora, it'll say like chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3. But I have like 119 episodes on the podcast, and only 11 of those are the chapters, but they're like labeled like chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3, and so on. But they're kind of sprinkled throughout the podcast.
Oh.
So yeah. But chapter 1 is episode 67. So the mentor, I'm sorry, the Muse is what I called him in the book. He was a photographer, but when I met him, he was doing security. And he was the first person that kind of was like so much of my cheerleader, like, you need to get your writing out there. And I started doing spoken word when I was in a relationship with him. So there were men that came into my life. Another guy was named RJ.
Yes.
And he was very much of an advocate for me. I had another person that I nicknamed Breath, and that was because he was from New York. Okay, he became my best friend. Now, we actually never went on an actual date, but I met him when I'm going through this process of dating, and he was just very instrumental in like making me believe in myself, because he would always give me these really harsh pep talks, because he was New Yorker, so he didn't, you know how New Yorkers talk real gruff, you know. But he would be so like positive in his own little way.
Yeah.
And kind of give me that. It's almost like a coach. You know how coaches at you, but they tell you what you need to hear. And so he was so encouraging. So I met a lot of men that were very instrumental in me believing in myself, in me putting away, like going back to chapter 1. So I was raised with this idea of the rose doctrine, because I was raised a Catholic, and we were taught, and this is in some non-denominational circles too, they'll say, you're a rose as a young lady, and if you let a man take your petals off, basically meaning you're sharing yourself sexually, you have nothing to give anybody that comes after that man. So I've been married twice, right? I had a couple of other relationships. So I've had about 4 sexual partners by the time I got divorced at 43.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm literally feeling like I have a high body count when I don't. That's nothing. But because I was raised so traditionally,
Yes, limited belief.
it was in my head that no man was going to want me because I was 43. I was plus size. I had 2 kids already. I'm twice divorced. I'd had this like 4 men already. I got this body count. All of this stuff is in my head. And then I met JJ and he was like, what are you talking about? None of that stuff matters. And he told me something. This was the first lesson because every chapter ends with a lesson.
Yes.
He said, girl, you're not a rose. You the whole damn bush. And when he said that to me, I was like, oh my God. And then I did some research on roses. Basically, a rose can be eaten. It's actually nutritious. A rose has thorns to protect itself. A rose can create a whole forest of roses, basically a whole garden. So basically, I began to think of myself as a garden instead of a rose because patriarchy and religion has made women think like they're these things that are meant to be handled by men. And once you're handled by men, you lose your value, and that I had to get rid of that thought process. I had to get rid of the thought process that said I am limited to what a man sees me as. And so he was the first man to come into my life and be like, what are you talking about? He was like, you are so generous. He was like, you don't even understand. He's like, you're not my girlfriend. This is one thing he told me. This is in chapter 1. We were dating and we were friends with benefits. So we weren't even officially boyfriend and girlfriend. But when Father's Day came, I bought him a gift. And I brought it over and he was stunned and he was like, you brought me a Father's Day gift? And I was like, yeah, why wouldn't I? And he was like, you don't even understand how giving you are. He was like, they're girlfriends that don't buy their boyfriends Father's Day gifts. And to you, this was like normal. Like we're just going out. We're just going out.
Yeah.
We're sexual partners, but we're just going out because I was with him for 6 months. So at the time I was with him, I wasn't dating anybody for most of that time. I was just with him. So he was like, you just don't even understand. You sit here and watch the game with me. You don't even interrupt. You let me be myself. You listen to me. You don't put words in my mouth. He was like, you do so many things that women, that women don't do.
Yes.
Right. And he was like, and you don't even realize that you're doing all of it because to you, it's just normal behavior. He was like, he had been married 3 times. He was like, I had been in a bunch of relationships. He was like, I'd have been like in 16 relationships. He was like, I have never been with a woman that I just enjoy being with because she just let me relax.
Yes. Yeah.
And he was like, you don't know how rare you are. He was like, if I wasn't leaving, because he was only in town for 6 months. He was like, if I wasn't leaving, I would marry you.
Right.
Just for this.
Yes. Right.
And he was like, they talk about being a man's piece, right? So there were things I didn't recognize my own value in the very beginning because I was taught that my value was in my chastity. It was in me cooking and cleaning and raising somebody's kids. I wasn't cooking for this man. He cooked for me. I wasn't cleaning up his house. His house was already clean. I wasn't raising his kids. His kids were already raised with their mom because they were in a whole nother state. So in my mind, I'm not really giving him anything because I'm not cooking for him. I'm not cleaning for him. We're having sex, yes, but okay, that's mutual. So I'm thinking I'm not really doing that much for him. And he's like, you listen to me. You're so helpful. If I have a problem, I can talk it out with you. He was like, you are so supportive and encouraging and motivating. And he was like, and you don't even realize you're doing all this stuff. You just do it because it's normal.
Yeah.
So I began to see myself very differently because I had been trained to see myself, my value in very physical things like cooking and cleaning and, kind of babying a man, you know what I mean? Because I was married twice.
There you go.
My ex-husbands each cook one meal. I was married 6 years the first time. He cooked one meal. I was married 11 years the second time. He cooked one meal.
Oh, God.
In 17 years, they cooked one meal each. Every other meal in that house, I cooked or my sons cooked it. Every other bit of cleaning in that house, I did it or my kids did it. Those men never cleaned. They never cooked. You know what I'm saying? Except that one meal. All right. My ex-husband, the first one, the one that was abusive, used to call me and ask me how to cook stuff. After we were divorced, I was like, "You got Google. Google it."
Dr. Google.
So I mean, it was crazy. But he was like, "No, I want to know you. How do you cook it?
How you cook it? Because you were enjoying that, huh?
Yeah. So it's crazy. I didn't value myself until other people began to show me, like, this is who you are. This is what we see.
Something we need.
And that's really sad as a woman, because I was always trained that I had to be earning my value. Like, I had to be proving my value. One of the reasons I wrote this book, You Are Loved and Wanted Because You're You.
Yes.
Is because I didn't get the message that I was valuable just because I was me until I was grown.
There you go.
I didn't get it as a kid.
Going through that.
I didn't get it as a teenager.
Right.
So I wanted kids to read that book and get that message when they were young.
Yes.
And then the crazy thing was, I had a lot of women buy this book. And they said, I bought it for my granddaughter. I bought it for my sister. I bought it for my nephew, my niece. And they would be like, I got to buy another one because I read it and I need to keep it.
For themselves.
Because I had a woman at work come and she was crying to me. She said, I took the book home and I read it. And she was like, I was just crying like a baby when I finished it. She was like, because I had none of what was said in that book had anybody ever said to me.
Wow.
She was like, I was just crying like a baby. And she was like, I got to buy another book because that book is mine. And especially I think as Black women, and maybe even as Black men, I did a workshop with, my camera moved. I did a workshop with Shape Community Center, and there was a man there in the workshop, and he started to cry. Mm-hmm. And he was in his 20s. He's in college, and he told me that he had never had anybody tell him he was valuable, just because he was himself, not for the money he made, not for being whatever, like doing something for other people, just for being him. Yes. So I don't think that even now, I think a lot of people aren't getting that message. So there were a lot of things that I was given through meeting a lot of different people that let me know my value, because I was raised in a critical family. I was raised in a judgmental family. I was raised in a conservative family. And it was always like we were trying to jump through hoops to get our parents' love, to get the church's love. You're always going to hell in church. So you always a backslider. I'm not. I am a member of a church now, but it's a very different type of church.
There you go.
Okay. Because I grew up in very judgmental circles.
There you go.
Where, you always worried about losing your salvation at the drop of a hat. And so
listen, look, you talk to a guy, you lost your salvation, honey.
Yeah. So I didn't have some of the security, some of the inner value and inner worth until I was divorced. And I actually met a lot of different people and went on a whole different spiritual journey. In the book, it actually talks about a spiritual journey that I went on to find out a lot of these things. Yes. So even in the middle of doing all this other stuff, it's like I'm going on a spiritual journey. I went natural during.
You have to go to a place of awareness.
Blacks throughout my hair. So that's in the book too, going natural and why I went natural. And, so there were a lot of things that happened. There were a lot of men that really spoke life into me, so when we talk about Black men and Black women being at war and their gender war, I see some of that, but I also see that there's a lot of love.
Yes.
And there's a lot of help and a lot of interaction that's positive, and it is building people up, because I had a lot of that happen for me. Yes. And so I was very grateful for that.
Oh, somebody got a question for you.
Oh, did I actually go out on dates with these men? Okay, yes. The 101, because in the book, every time I go on a date with a guy, he gets a nickname, and there's actually a fish. I don't know if you can see that fish.
Yes, I see it.
So every fish is a physical date. And then
Okay.
there's poems. There's actually 97 poems. If you see those pens, that's the
Yes.
poems. And at the end of every chapter, there's actually a light bulb moment. There's actually a light bulb icon that tells you what I learned from that period of time.
There you go. Yes.
So, and all the 20, there's like 26 lessons. So if you see that light bulb, I don't know if you
Yes.
see it.
Yes.
Yeah. At the end of the book, it actually has now there's a lot more than 26 lessons, but the 26 lessons from the 26 chapters are actually at the end of the book. And so, like it says, lessons at the end of the book, and it has the 26 lessons from the 26 chapters. But yeah, I physically met 147 guys.
And in what
date.
time? In what time? 147 guys
In 7 years. So that
7
basically
years.
that's about 21 dates a year. So that's about 2 dates a month if you want to average it out.
So 7 years.
So it's about a date every 2 weeks.
Okay.
Sometimes I wasn't dating because like I said, I was with JJ for 6 months. So like 5.5 of those months I wasn't dating anybody but him.
Okay.
So there were times when I was in a committed relationship. I was only with one person. But then there were other times when I was dating. And dating does not mean having sex. I did not have sex with 147 people.
Right.
You know, so
you're going out. You're going.
I was going out to public places.
Yes.
You know, for ice cream, for coffee, for dinner. I had a date at church one time. I did. I met a guy at church. You know, I went to some concerts with some guys. So there were a lot of different types of dates. I went to a Zydeco festival with one guy. I met one guy at the park. You know, I mean, I had a bunch of different
occasions.
Yeah, these were occasions.
Yeah.
Now,
because
about 8 of those men out of the 147, I ended up actually having a sexual relationship with. In 7 years. So.
And that's the thing. I think a lot of people, when we're talking, and I think we are taught is that when we hear the word date, that is the main thing that we are correlating, that we're putting that together. Like, oh my God, I just went on a date. Date don't mean that I went and have sex with somebody. They mean that we went out to dinner. We went to get ice cream. We were together.
Right.
Together don't mean it's a sexual thing.
Right.
And I think that's a lot of people is a misconception to dating in this time. And there's a misconception to this. Maybe it's coming from way back, but it's a misconception to dating when, I went on a date. You did? Mm-hmm. Oh my goodness. You're making your own conclusion. You're like, oh my God.
Right. So like in most of those days, we didn't even physically touch. Like there was no kiss. There was no nothing. Yeah. You know, it was just a interaction. You know, so that was my experience, because for me, I have to really have a connection with the person to be sexual with the person. So I'm not I just can't do that with everybody. Like, you know, so that's I'm like that. Some people can, I can't.
Yeah. Because you're not, I want to say that you're not just any woman. Right? You're not just any person. Because as women, we have to start seeing ourselves like we're not just a woman. We're not just there's a difference, and I'm going to share this with you. There's a difference between being a good woman and a great woman. You're not a good woman. Since you're not a good woman, and most women consider themselves as good women. Oh, I'm a good woman, so I want a good man. No. We got to come to a point where we start elevating this level. And I don't even have to know all the stories, but you're not a good woman. And first time I said it, like, what? No, you're not a good woman. And I'm going to tell you directly that you're not a good woman. You are a great woman. There's a difference between being a great woman, because a great woman does things differently, and there's no extra nothing to you to do it.
Yeah.
Right? And just the same way, I think you just mentioned one of the dates was saying that, oh my God, you're such a giver. Why are you doing that? I'm a great woman. I'm a great woman. I'm not just a good woman, just a normal woman sitting somewhere. A good woman is just you already graduated from being good. You went through 2 marriages being the good woman, being the good wife. You already graduated from that. So, yeah. Oh, somebody's asking, are you still dating?
Yes,
Yay!
yes,
Say
I'm
loud and
single right now.
proud.
I'm single right now. I haven't been on a date in quite a while.
Okay. What is quite a while?
Because I haven't met anyone. Well, no one's come. I'm not
Nobody approached
active.
you.
I'm not active on dating apps like I used to be.
Oh, okay.
So I am on dating apps, but
Hold on a second. She was on date. She used dating apps before.
yes, I did.
Okay.
Most of my dates came through dating apps, so I'm not as active as I used to be.
Yes.
Because I also am looking for a long-term relationship. I'm not looking to, before I was okay with casually dating, and I didn't necessarily that person didn't necessarily have to be looking for a long-term relationship.
Mm-hmm.
So I was much more open to
Mm-hmm.
just getting together, having fun, that kind of thing. And
Mm-hmm.
now I'm really just looking for people who
Your
want
purpose
to
partner.
commit.
So
that's kind of narrowed my dating pool somewhat.
Yeah, you need. I said this to you, and I'm going to say it again because you see, I got witnesses over here. You need a purpose partner.
Right.
That's what you need. Your desire is to have a purpose partner.
Right.
You're not looking for anything. You're not looking for anything because at this point, a purpose partner is looking for you.
I agree. I accept that.
I'm just going to say that.
Like she said, I would love to meet a man who's really a purpose partner, as she put it.
Yes, a purpose partner.
That's what I'm looking for, or that's really what I'm not looking for. That's what I am open
to. Desire.
That's what I desire. That's what I desire.
So let us change the language. You're not looking for anything. You desire to have a purpose partner, which will come in and help you fulfill your purpose, and you grow together.
Yes.
Don't look for anything because you see, a man gotta look for you. You ain't look for nobody. You're not looking for nobody. No, no. That purpose partner is looking for you.
Right.
Looking for you. Because what happened now, you're already setting the pace. You're already setting the levels. Like, hey, I just did all of this. So he's over there saying, Mm-hmm. So he's not coming in to help you start from scratch, honey. He's not coming in to do that. You already got your stuff. He's coming with his cards. Because you already set yours. So he's coming with like, hey, let's do this.
Right.
He's not coming like, girl, I'm taking you off the streets or something. You're not doing that.
Right.
No. When you come, honey, I already got something. You're not coming in to help me. No, I already got something. You're coming to help me fulfill my purpose. We're doing this together.
Right.
And how can I help you fulfill your purpose?
Yes.
That's what the purpose partner is. And that's what you desire right now. Yes, indeed. I see another question coming up. Lord of mercy.
Yes.
I see another question coming up for you. How do your sons relate to you having these different relationships? Although they are grown, did you have any discussion with them?
I did. Yeah. Before, when I was still married and we had filed, before I even filed for divorce, I set my sons down. Like I said, they had already said that they were expecting it. I said, okay, I'm going to get divorced. And I do plan on dating. Do you have any feelings about that? Are you upset about that? And they were like, oh, Mom, we just want you to be happy. We know that you're miserable. We know you're lonely. We know that you guys don't have a relationship. We want you to be happy. So basically, my sons kind of gave me some rules. One of the rules was like, they didn't want me dating any cops because they thought that cops were abusive. They had a horrible track record of being abusive. And they were basically like, you need to tell him that he needs to be extremely respectful with you.
Yeah.
If he gets anywhere out of pocket, he's going to have to deal with us, and as long as he is respectful to you and you're happy, we're happy.
Yes.
So that was really, it was almost like they just said, all we want you to do is to be safe and be happy, and for him to take good care of you. And if he's doing his job, then we are completely happy with you dating.
Yes.
So that was kind of the only, they were just more concerned with someone being, because they knew that their biological father, right, was an abusive person. And the last thing that they wanted me to do is be in that situation again. Because even though I got divorced when they were about 6 going on to 7, they still had a few memories.
Yeah.
And I actually put them in counseling more than once because I thought that they might have memories of things that happened, and they did. So that was the conversation that we had. So they were actually very happy. One of the guys that I met that's in the book called Harley Davidson, that was his nickname in the book.
Yeah.
They bonded so well. I mean, they loved him. He was in my life for 6 months, and I thought it was going to be a forever relationship, but it didn't go that way. But my kids didn't meet very many of the guys. I think they only met 3 out of all of the guys that I was with.
Which is wise.
Yeah. So they met Gatsby, who was in my life for quite a while. They met Eric. Well, he was called the Muse in the book. I slipped up and used his real name. They met the Muse and they met Harley. So those were the 3 that they met. And so they were, they didn't have a problem with Gatsby or the Muse. They really, really loved Harley. Like those, they were thick as thieves. So
what happened right there?
Yeah, and that was another great thing about that relationship, was because I felt like I had my family back, because my kids and him bonded so well. They were doing projects together, fixing stuff around the house, cooking together, like barbecuing and stuff. It was, it was that whole thing. So yeah, that was a great thing. So my sons were very supportive. They just that was their boundaries.
Okay.
Just let him know, mama, if he's gonna, be a part of your life, just let him know.
we heat.
Because we don't play about our mom, So,
there you go.
So yeah, that was kind of how they dealt with it. But they only
and I think with that said, there's a follow-up question. It's kind of a follow-up question from Paulette is asking a question. Out of all the men you dated, did you have any second or third dates?
Yeah, the 8 that ended up in my life for extended period of time, we ended up having second and third dates. Yeah, we ended up, one was in my life, a couple were in my life for 3 months. JJ was in my life for 6 months. RJ is still in my life as a friend. We kind of, sometimes people, you decide that you're not going to be able to be romantic with somebody, but you like having them around, to talk to. Now, I haven't seen RJ in a very long time. I don't know, 3 or 4 months, but we still talk. We still text each other. So yeah, the 8 or so that ended up being in my life for a while, they ended up being second and third dates. Most were just one date, and that was it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, Tita said you missed out on the Golden Bachelor being run on TV right now. You would have been a perfect match. You would have been a good match.
Gotcha. Yes.
Very well, very well, very well. Oh my goodness. Yes. Dave said truth is women just really need to understand, to really learn more of self and always seek self-improvement. Main thing is to enjoy you and watch how things become even better for you.
I agree.
Yeah. Men and women individually just need to stop and just learn themselves. Yeah. You learn yourself, we're good. That's it. You need help, you need help. Everybody need help sometime.
Right.
And we all here to support each other. That's how it works. I mention this all the time. Nobody go nowhere by themselves. Nobody succeed by themselves. A relationship is not a single relationship. You don't have no one. No. We need somebody. That's why God did not just create one person.
Yeah.
We need people. We need people in our lives. And that's why I'm saying your concept of going on these dates, it is solid proof that we need people. We need different kind of people in our life.
Mm-hmm.
We need different kind of people. Like, I need to meet you. I need to be somebody who speaks a whole different language. Right? Okay, let's learn a language together.
Right.
I need somebody who eats something different from what I do. Oh, let's see how we can learn how this food business go. You know what I'm saying? You learn from each other and you teach each other. That's what it is. We are students and teachers at the same time with the same intention to live, learn, and teach. That's it.
True.
To live, learn, and teach. So nobody should not be nowhere by themselves. Nobody. Nobody needs somebody. I have Verona. You have me. I try to tell you, listen, everybody needs somebody. I motivate somebody. No. I inspire somebody. Yes. I impact somebody. Yes. That's all I'm going to do. So, yes, you got me right here. I'm the host. Yes, indeed. All of y'all going to be on here. So, yeah, you have Verona. I'm right here. So, yes, indeed. So, like I said, everybody needs somebody. Everybody needs somebody. And I celebrate you. I celebrate you. I celebrate
Thank
you
you.
for that move. Like that's a bold move. That's that's more than a boss move, honey. That's not even a boss move. That's not even a boss move. That's a whole. Listen, I like that. You just inspire me.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you.
You just listen, honey. You just inspire me. You just put me to a whole different level. Let me tell you, I walk with my confidence and all of this, but you don't put me to a whole different level. You don't change my whole concept to this whole life. You just add on to me right about now. People, we gonna finish this show. Because we're gonna listen. We might have to bring her back. So listen. We're gonna finish this show. We're gonna pause this show because I don't like to say finish. Because finish mean I want to bring you back. You know what I'm saying? Finish mean that you're not coming back. You belong here. You belong here. So we're gonna pause this episode, honey. We gonna pause this episode because you gotta come back, honey. You gotta come back and feed us again because this right here. See, everybody's saying this is a great show. Everybody's loving this. Everybody's loving this. You're gonna come back here. I'm gonna get Miss Den on my show. As what? As who? Oh, never mind. Bring on over. Bring on. Wait, what state are you in?
I'm in Houston.
Oh,
I'm in Texas. You said what state? I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm in Texas. I'm in right outside of Houston, Texas. I'm in a place called Springs. I'm right at North Houston.
Okay, you up in Texas. You up in Texas down there. Yes, indeed. But let me tell you something. This has been great. And I'm not finishing this episode. I am pausing this episode because I'm trying to let you know I'm going to drink my water and do what I got to do. But I'm going to tell you something. You're coming back here. I'm not even going to ask you. You're coming back. You're coming back. But as we pause this episode here, and I already put in your information somewhere, your link tree. People, the link is
a picture on the screen. Yeah, if you Google me, Zen Ase, or if you Google the Zenergy podcast, it's spelled ZENNURGY. Yeah, you should be able to see at the very top, it has all the places that you can listen to the podcast. 11 chapters of the memoir are on the podcast. The memoir is a 26 chapter book. So you can listen to the first, almost half of it. 11 chapters is almost half of the book. So you can listen to almost half of it for free and kind of go on a journey of all my dates.
Yeah, well, look, I put up the link tree. The link tree stuff is right there. Yes, indeed.
Yes, the link tree is right there.
Right there. So listen now, as we pause here tonight, because audience, she's coming back. We pause here. I want you to talk to the single ladies. They Love 101 for the single ladies, Lost 101 for the single ladies, and Dating 101 for the single ladies. So three things I need for you to talk with the single ladies, and same thing for the men. So go ahead and you take it from here.
Well, I think that there was some great advice given to really know yourself and to really validate yourself, to not look to dating to validate you or a relationship to validate you, but to know, who you are. And I gotta, hold on, let me go. My alarm is going off for some reason.
Thank you, Kevin. Thank you.
I apologize for that. I had an alarm go off for some reason. But to really know who you are, really validate yourself and have your self-esteem intact, because there are abusive people out in the world. There are narcissists, there are physically abusive people, if you're not really strong in yourself, it's easy to get love bombed and pulled into those kind of things. And this is Domestic Violence Awareness Month. So, you know, I would say have a very strong sense of self when you go out into the dating world. And then for dating, have fun. Don't go into it with so much like, I got to find the one, you know, I've got to grill this person. Really just go into it as an experience and to just see what is out there, to see what you like, what you don't like, you know, and just enjoy the experience, because if you're too clingy, you're going to run off a lot of people. And I think sometimes women kind of have that biological clock ticking. They have all these negative messages in their mind about, you know, needing to get this man in a certain amount of time. And it's really not like that. I believe that you have as much time as you need to do whatever you need to do, but also be very aware and don't talk too much. Listen to the men, because they will tell you a lot about themselves. Do not tell a man when they say, what are you looking for? Give them a vague answer. I'm looking for somebody compatible. I'm looking for someone who really adds to my life. I'm looking for someone who adds value. I'm looking for someone worth getting to know. Do not give them a blueprint of what you want, because they will pretend to be exactly that. And then you'll realize later that they were not that. So be very vague, you know, and that's not to be deceptive. It is because you want to see who they are. A lot of times I'll say, I'm just looking for somebody to show me who they are. And if I like you, I'll let you know. You know what I mean? Just be yourself. And you know, I would say give those kind of messages out, because if you give somebody a blueprint, they'll fill that blueprint, and it'll take you a long time to realize that they are not who you thought they were, because they can be very convincing, especially when you give them a blueprint. So those would be some tips that I have about dating. Be careful. Go meet people in public places, meet them, you know, early, you know, don't be out there 11, 12 at night, you know, meet them in public places, you know, regular hours, you know, 5 to 8, something like that is what I would advise. Good lighting. Google the place before you go. See kind of what the parking is, see kind of what the situation is, because dating is not always safe. I mean, I've had a great track record. So you want to be safe. You want to be safe. So those would be some of the tips that I have for single women that are dating, you know.
Well, I ain't got nothing else to say. I ain't got nothing else to say. I'm done saying. Great tips. Who just said that? Yeah, Dave just said great tips. I ain't got nothing else to say. That's that. All I'm going to say. Good night to all of y'all. I ain't got nothing. I ain't got nothing else to say. Nope. All I'm going to say, from my heart to your heart, I say thank you for being here.
Well, thank you for having me.
I speak nothing from my mouth. I speak only from my heart, honey. And I just want to say to you, honey, I celebrate you from my heart. I congratulate you from my heart. I appreciate you from my heart. I like everything that's from my heart. And
Thank you.
just forget what I'm saying. My heart speaks for itself. And my heart only speaks truth. Only truth. And with that said, you're coming back.
All right.
With that said, you just gonna come back. We gonna set up for you to come back. Audience, raise your hand. Let us know that you want her back. Because I want her back. I want her to come back in. So, audience, please put up your hand, raise your hand. That it's a return guest. You know, please, because woo, I love this. I love it. Kevin was going to his bed, but he changed his mind from going to his bed. He changed his mind. He ain't going to his bed. He's waving his hand that he would like for you to come back. So we are going to arrange for you to have a date to come back. And yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Yes. Everyone, I really want to thank all the audience for sticking with us. We went over 2 hours tonight, and I want to say thank you. Just like from the bottom of my heart, the whole, like the entire section of my heart, I want to say thank you all for sticking it out here tonight, for just like staying here, staying on course with us. Because I mean, something like this, you just can just bram like, oh, we done. No, so I really, really want to appreciate every last one of you that's on this live, that has stayed the course. Um, I don't know how much to say thank you. I don't know how much to say thank you. So we will have her back. And I hope when we have her back, you bring a guest, bring a guest, bring a guest, bring the X, the X, the X, the Y, the Z, the Z, the Z, whoever. Bring them, and everybody come with somebody. Bring a guest. We invite her back. You bring a guest, and we good to go. So again, thank you so much. You try to get one of her books. Yes, the book is on, and I put up the link. The link is somewhere. Click on the link, you see the book, I think the podcast. But on Amazon, you find all of our books over there on Amazon indeed. The title of the book is called...
The title is Plenty of Guppies and Other Dating Misadventures. If you Google Zen Ase, Zen space Ase, or Zen Ase books, it should pop up because it's been on the bestsellers list for over a year now in poetry. So Plenty of Guppies and Other Dating Misadventures is the title.
Yes, indeed. So again, thank you so much. Thank you. And we say good night, good morning, good day, good summer. Just have a good life, people. Have a good life. Live your life on your own terms. So again, this is your host saying, see you and the next go around, people. Whenever she's coming back, don't y'all worry. I'll let y'all know. Bye.
Bye-bye.